There we go. It should be recording now. It should record sound and stuff. I guess just like a biography of how you got started.
Well, I got started as a collector. My dad had a couple Indian sites on his property. He had a 250-acre place along the Arkansas-Oklahoma line, and one field down in the bottom valley had a Caddoan site on it, a lot of little arrow points, and so I started picking those up. And then I got to going down on Spavinaw Creek and the Illinois River. In those days, every field was plowed, no exceptions. And I found that every field that had a high enough elevation above the flood level had a site on it.
Yeah.
And so in those days, my goal was to pick up 50 points every time I went out, and usually did. Some days more than that. In fact, one time I hit a field that hadn't been plowed in many years. Dad told me there was a lot of artifacts on it. I mean, I picked up 200 points that afternoon.
Wow.
First time it ever. Mostly late archaic stuff, but there's a lot of stuff, a lot of points there. And then the first excavation I got into was about 1959, I think. University of Oklahoma was excavating the Poli site in Mays County, and I was invited to come and participate in it, so I did. And we camped out in late December and early January on a little tiny creek over there, right but down from the site.
That'd be down by Wolf Creek, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was no such thing as motels. We had our tent and slept. Sometimes there was snow on the ground, 6 inches of snow, but under the shelter there was no snow, so we excavated it. And I saw the way that Max Ray was directing the excavation. I saw the way he did it, and I could see plenty of room for improvement, because he was a graduate student and pretty new, and I didn't know a lot about it then either. But I think the next major excavation I got on was the Albertson Shelter, which I excavated essentially by myself. There was almost nobody. A few people would come down and help for a day, but it was a stratified shelter with all the way from Dalton to late prehistoric in it. Some of the early cultures, Hidden Valley, Rice-lobed, Breckenridge, Dalton, things like that. And was able to get carbon dates on a lot of these, so I have a pretty good idea. It was finally published by the Arkansas Archaeological Survey after sitting on the manuscript for about 10 years, while they finally got it out. And then I worked for Historic Preservation Associates in Fayetteville, and worked on many, many sites. And recently, of course, have been doing a lot to get its site information recorded, and also I've started authenticating artifacts because I've seen so many, and I have a good binocular microscope and equipment to do it with, and so have been doing that, going to most of the artifact shows.
Yeah. When did you start with, like, Calf Creek Cave? And
well, Calf Creek was in 1960s. It was, see, there's many sites that I worked some at. Calf Creek Cake was a huge site, really, really big. And it had been dug in for years by some of the local people, but nobody had gone to the bottom of it. And I doubt if anyone still has. But there's probably 15 feet, maybe more, of dirt that's been shifted throughout the whole central part of the cave. The landowner says he knows that 20,000 points have been taken from it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I named the Calf Creek type from the first one of these based on notched points that I found in there, and the Searcy was also found in there, and there was lots of them, and so both of those were named for Calf Creek Cave.